Hey guys, welcome to the Silver Report. Today is Tuesday, February 7th, 2017. Gold is currently trading at $1,231.20. Silver is currently trading at $17.73. And let's get into some of the economic factors that will be playing in on the silver market. Now, demand for gold has hit 4-year highs after the Brexit and Trump votes. We also have Frexit on the horizon. We see that Marine Le Pen is pulling way ahead in the election results over their political uncertainty drove investment demand up by 70% in 2016. Global demand was at its highest level since 2013, and we know that silver is always connected with gold. In fact, the percentage increases normally tend to be higher. The Brexit vote and the election of Donald Trump drove global demand for gold to 4-year highs in 2016. As pension funds and other institutional investments piled into precious metals, while higher prices put consumers off jewelry purchases. So we have jewelry purchases down because of the expected rise. Global gold demand rose 2% last year to reach 4,309 tons, the highest level since 2013, according to a report from the World Gold Council, which represents gold miners. So, not necessarily what you see on the COMEX, what you see in the papers market, what you see taking place in this illusion, but actual gold demand that is circulating from gold miners and silver demand that is coming through the silver miners. This was largely driven by inflows of 532 tons of gold-backed exchange-traded funds, which tracked the spot price of gold, marking the best year for ETFs since 2009. Demand for gold is up for 2016, almost to 2011 levels. Gold is seen as a safe haven in times of turmoil. There's plenty of that going around. We see that we have the shock Brexit vote, the election of Donald Trump as U.S. president, along with the upcoming Dutch, French, German elections. The weaker yuan and low negative interest rates also made gold much more attractive. It's helping push the investment demand up by 70%. So not just the price hasn't risen by 70%, but in a true free market with demand up 70% from the previous year. 2016 saw an unprecedented degree of political upheaval, which underpinned huge institutional investor flows into gold. ETFs are an easy way for people to access gold and to sell gold and silver, but in the end, you don't own it unless it's in your hands. So physical silver, physical gold in your possession, in my personal opinion, is the best way to go, because ultimately we know that the paper markets are suppressed. We know that they're creating millions of ounces of silver, billions of ounces of silver, millions of tons of gold. More than global production in history exists in the paper market. And when that house of cards comes down, when people begin to look into what they're going, when people go and begin to demand their gold, it will kind of be like what the United States did in 1971. Oh, we no longer are using gold. Here's more paper. However, jewelry demand, it hit a 7-year low of 2,041.6 tons in 2016. But that's due to the rise in gold prices for much of the year. Central bank purchases were the lowest since 2010, due in part to increased pressure on foreign exchange reserves. Consumers in China and India, the world's two biggest gold markets, bought less jewelry as the price of gold rose 25% between January and September. And we know that gold is the enemy of the central banking industry. Gold is a threat to reserve currencies. Gold is a threat to because these banks, they're operating on free-floating fiat systems, implied value paper, and people and demand for gold. We saw in India, they wanted to switch over to a cashless society. So their first steps were to eliminate the highest value rupees. And so they tried to eliminate the note from circulation. And what they told the people was, we don't have enough small notes in order to provide for all the people. So what you need to do is exchange them into the bank and we will pay you out over time in smaller denominated notes. So what the people began to do, they realized that this was an attempt to eliminate the use of cash within India, which is one of the world's fastest growing economies right now. And so the people began to flow their money into gold, which then they put limits, state limits on the purchase of gold and on the imports of gold. And so the people began to flow into silver as currency. So we saw a dramatic devaluing of their currency as people lost faith and began to rush into silver and into gold. And now we saw they instituted a 12.5% tax on all silver coin purchases. So silver and gold is an enemy to the central banks. While global demand is rising, their purchasing cannot be apparent because it will only rise to the global demand, further illuminating the desire of the people to use real money, which is gold and silver, and it will exacerbate the problem. It will raise global demand even higher. But the thing that we see here, the key figures, are that massive, big money investors are getting into the gold market. This money that hasn't been in the market since 2011, 2012, because these people aren't all preppers. These people are money men with immense wealth. They're not all preparing for the end of the world until now, when they see that around the world, it's a very real possibility. We see disputes over the South China Sea. We see a President Trump that is at ends with Australia, Britain at some points, China, Russia, all the different trade partners. And we see all the elite coming out, all of the villains that you see portrayed on all your favorite shows, your George Soroses, your Henry Kissingers, and they're having their announcements and little meetings, and just the way they describe it, we are seeing an unprecedented breakdown of the global order that has been established. And so this smart money, this big money, is seeing massive returns on the horizon, and they are moving back into the market, which is where we see big swings, which is where their price manipulation can't keep up with this inflow, with this investor demand of 70% increase into gold. Consumers in China and India, the world's two biggest gold markets, bought less jewelry as the price of gold rose 25% between January and September. Prices then fell between October and December, which meant they were 8% higher over the year as a whole, ending 2016 at $1,145.90 an ounce. We see we're off to a great start in 2017. It seems like it's been nothing but up. So in India, the nationwide jewelers' strike, in effect, shut down the gold industry at the beginning of the year. And in November, rural communities were hit hard by the cash crunch caused by the withdrawal of high-denomination banknotes. But the effect is likely to be temporary. So the monsoon of money that is flowing into physical gold over the price dip in November, when Trump's positive growth rhetoric led to the dollar and equity market strengthening, contributed to a strong recovery in the bar and coin market in the final quarter. You had said China's retail investors in particular snapped up gold bars and coins. Until 2004, they were banned in China from doing that. Europe remained the second largest bar and coin market in the world. So what we see is changing tastes. Not only with the younger people in China preferring lower grade branded jewelry to the top grade gold favored by their parents' generation, we see younger Chinese also prefer to spend their money on travel, on yellow and rose gold. Gold teeth have sprung out and become a fashion trend in China. For the first time in years, miners started exploring for gold again, spurred on by the rise in prices. They're looking to strike for gold in periphery and existing mines. Any discoveries would take several years to feed through to the increased gold production to be able to meet this demand. So what we see is they're unable to keep up with the price suppression, to be able to keep down the price, just because the sheer volume of demand is so high that the central banks are unable to even purchase gold. We saw that when the markets closed down for the Chinese New Year, When they reopened after the Chinese New Year, the Chinese government was buying gold hand over fist, trying to attain as much physical volume of gold as possible. We see that Russia is amassing hand over fist mass amounts of gold because they see a global disruption is coming. Smart money. We talked about that the other day. And we see that the dollar in value fluctuates almost daily because it's extremely unstable right now. We're one tweet away from silver being priced out of your possession. And we see rises almost daily coming through. It is because this market is heating up. And what we're set to see is a year of gains, in my opinion. And I thank you guys so much for joining me. When you face times like this, troubling times like this, uncertainty and turmoil is great for gold and silver. And it seems like that's all there's left for us in this country. So the best steps is to prepare now while you have the chance. Buy food while it's cheap because inflation is setting in. And as the Fed describes it again, I love this phrase. We have a nasty surprise coming for us. And so when inflation sets in, food and steps to be able to prepare will not be as easily attainable. Our rice comes from Asia. And when this Asia trade war kicks off, we will see a spike in our food prices. A redeveloping, if you will, of our current global trade scenario. Some of the things that we now focus our farming and growing and production for trade will be redirected. We're watching a reshaping of the world, and it will not be easy. It will be painful, and there will be some transition shock. And so take steps to prepare, with the market sentiment being only surviving on enthusiasm. When we have a market shock, it could cause this massive bubble to come crashing down, and this sentiment to change in a moment of time. All it takes, as these globalists put it, is the right kind of tragedy, and the people will willingly reach out and grasp for the new world order. All right, thank you guys so much for joining me. If you like the content, be sure to subscribe. There'll be more videos just like this. Like the videos, leave me a comment in the comment box, leave me some suggestions. I thank you guys, everyone, for joining me, for being a part of this channel, for all the great comments you leave. And, you know, the best part in this fight is that the voice of truth is prevailing, is that the people have begun to wake up. They have begun, that the mainstream media is no longer becoming mainstream. That we have presidents to step up and point out that CNN, you're fake news. Your organization is deplorable. And that these news outlets are suffering in ratings. And so this is what keeps us alive, guys. Independent media. Is that we get the word out, that we awaken the masses, that some of these people that are showing up to these protests would be able to see the facts clearly, examine them, and to realize the best option is gold and silver in a world that's falling apart around you. I thank you guys so much for joining me. Be sure to share the videos, get the word out, and remember, guys, stay safe. Hey guys, thanks for joining me again. I told you we had something special coming up. So what we're going to do, I just got a nice package in the mail. Got two brand new 2017 Canadian Maples. Man, I love these coins. What a beautiful coin that is. Oh, I guess you're wondering about the title of the video. That's right. This is Free Silver February, guys. And I figured since the channel's been doing so good and picking up so many subscribers, I thought it was time to give a little something back to my audience. So for every person who subscribed, all you have to do, guys, is comment on 3 different videos the message Free Silver February. And for everybody who types the message Free Silver February in 3 different videos, each 3 videos, you're entered in for a chance to win one of these brand new silver Canadian Maples. Brand new, never touched by human hands. Well, at least since they've been in my possession. Brand new, spotless coins. And they're yours, guys. I'll pay shipping. So if you want to partake in the contest, all you gotta do is be subscribed. Type in free silver February. I'll make it even sweeter. Every 3 videos you post that comment in, you're entered in. So there's no limit. The only limit is the amount of videos because it's gotta be on 3 separate videos. Alright, and I'll make it even sweeter since the channel's been doing so well, guys. And if you're new to this channel, we talk a little bit about politics, a little bit about the current economic crisis we're facing that they're trying to ignore. It's kind of one of those fake news sites they've been warning you about. So this is what I'm going to do, guys, since it's been doing so good. If we surpass 1,000 subscribers, which I'm assuming we will, at the current rate, we'll blow past that before the end date, February 27th, 2017, I'm going to double it. So you get 2 ounces of silver, and even more than that, I'll throw in 5 mercury dimes. Absolutely free. I'll pay shipping, and we're going to do the drawing live, guys. Good old-fashioned pull names out of a hat. You know what I mean. So here's your chance, guys, if you want to enter in. It's not that difficult for all my audience, all my faithful subscribers. Everyone who's subscribed, all you have to comment is free silver February, and you're in. Alright, but thank you guys for joining me. This message is effective January 27th, 2017. Let the games begin.